welcome back. I wasn't too surprised when I saw on Twitter that Crithto, hope I didn't mispronounce that, he's a community manager at Blizzard, announced that he's leaving for a new opportunity, and his last day is October 8th. While he is hoping to attend BlizzCon, if he is there, he obviously will not be there from the point of being an employee. While this is a good time for employees to leave, as in it's a slow time in between expansions, it will be interesting to see if they replace him. I say this because Blizzard has been kinda quiet lately, considering BlizzCon is right around the corner. For example, let's talk about a new employee, Stefan Frost. Now, the name may sound familiar to you because he was a force to be reckoned with at WildStar. WildStar used to use these mini videos that explained characters, game dynamics, etc., and they were very popular and drew people, a lot of people like myself, to WildStar. Now, he's only been at Blizzard since July, and I'm curious what he's going to bring to the table for the expansion. If he is as passionate about working at Blizzard as he was for WildStar, that is a great thing for Blizzard. I mean, his whole thing at WildStar was hardcore, and WoW is not hardcore. Now, let's keep in mind, the WildStar thing was the hardcore thing, so it may not be his thing, but that's what that voice is still in my head. Those videos left an impression. I really enjoyed them. He surprised people by leaving WildStar back in September 2014 to work for Amazon, and that didn't last very long. And now he's at Blizzard, and you don't hear very much about him, which is disappointing. Maybe I'm missing it, but I was hoping to see him in live streams, publicly bringing the energy he had in WildStar to Blizzard. Unfortunately, Blizzard might be a gotta pay the bills job instead of a, oh my god, I'm at Blizzard passion job. But then again, BlizzCon is coming up, and he tweeted he's not on a panel. He'll be working in the background. Speaking of lack of communication, this was brought up on the EU forums. Why can't Blizzard employees talk more often? A Blue responded, "It's worth keeping in mind that the forum is just one part of our responsibilities as community managers. This article, which they link to, gives good insight to what we do day to day. In the interest of transparency, I'd also like to briefly run through some of the other things we do besides the forums. This will hopefully give you an idea of our rather varied workload: creating, localizing, publishing of content, reviewing and forwarding feedback, interaction with players, contests and giveaways, planning and execution of events, and supporting fan sites, bloggers, streamers, YouTubers, competition, and event organizers." As you can see, it is a very varied list of tasks, but all of the tasks directly relate to the community as a whole. There's never really a shortage of work that needs doing. Although we are reading the forums every day to stay informed about trends, suggestions, and feedback, please keep in mind that the forums are primarily intended as a way for everyone to discuss the game amongst themselves. Now, that being said, I do intend to interact with you as frequently as I can. If you have any questions after reading this, please don't hesitate to ask. I have a question. Noting there are multiple community managers, and even considering that you're -1 now, and these are full-time positions, right? What do you do all day? What do all of you do all day that they can't interact more than they have? Speaking of not communicating more, gotta love these segues. Don't get your panties in a bunch because it's not that serious, but actually true interaction happened on Twitter. So Holinka asked, how many game designers have been fired via online petition asking for a friend? And I said, Maybe you know Occupy G Street, which is Ghostcrawler, with the tag, and that's how rumors start. And then he says, haha, no, I just mean that he had many of those silly petitions in his time, just pointing out we've seen this before. To which Ghostcrawler responds, the more likely outcome is your boss says, keep doing what you're doing, but stop talking to players because it's controversial. And then another employee says, yep, ties into that why game devs don't communicate with players article you linked previously. To which Holinka says, I don't think this particular group cares about communication. They are unhappy and want corrective action. They are operating under the false belief that I am standing in the way of getting them what they want. Can't punish communication to all players due to horrible few. To which Holinka responds, our team strategy is to communicate through @Warcraft devs and not our personal accounts. That's fine. Unfortunately, I agree with this. Now let me be clear. I am not one of those people. I would prefer more communication because I'm a mature adult in control of my emotions, and I do not whine like a little bitch when I don't get my way. I will walk away if I'm unhappy and unable to find a solution, unlike many who whine, complain, yet stay. And the truth is, the problem isn't the game anymore, it's that the person doesn't have the balls to leave. Just saying. While I want corrective action, just like many others do, communication is key in building trust and building a stable foundation with the community. So hopefully BlizzCon will be the event where they can talk more about the expansion and open up the floodgates for communication. I'm very curious as to what they're going to announce for BlizzCon. And I'm hoping that we don't have to wait for the marketing strategies like during beta, which probably won't be until what? Well, they may announce alpha beta. I wouldn't be surprised if they did at BlizzCon. But, like the regular beta probably wouldn't be until what? February, March 2016, with a launch around June because that's when the movie's coming out. Time will tell. A final note, more wise words from Ghostcrawler responding to this comment. Except the alternative is always substantially less rewarding, so it will never get cared about. You can't just offer easy versus hard with the same rewards. Nobody will opt into hard just because. How can you be so sure? I always choose the hardest difficulty without knowing if I'll get better rewards. So then Ghostcrawler said, the comment was specifically about group PvE content. If you offer 5 difficulty levels, all with the same rewards, and don't provide easy ways for other players to see others' accomplishments, then my experience is most players will see no point in suffering through the harder difficulties. Some will, but my expectation is that the group will be small. In general, if players do more challenging content, they expect rewards appropriate for their accomplishment. Those rewards could be power-based rewards, or they could be recognition from other players. This doesn't mean players don't like difficult content. I like difficult content, but generally, in multiplayer games, players want some recognition or outright rewards that they did it the hard way. I think the mindset is just different in single-player games. I play Dark Souls because I gain satisfaction over beating it. It's harder to lean on personal satisfaction in a multiplayer game where players spend a lot of brain space comparing their accomplishments to others. In multiplayer games, the social element is typically pretty massive, or it wouldn't be a multiplayer game. Recognition, in my experience, is an important part of that social element. What do you think? Would you go through a hard dungeon just for the satisfaction of doing it? Or do you want a reward or recognition that you've done it? For me, it's like the saying, pics or it didn't happen. While there are some things I will do for fun, like soloing dungeons, and not expect recognition, If I do not feel that the journey to do it is rewarding, or I feel, a better way to put it is if I feel like I'm wasting my time, for example, that Draenor Pathfinder achievement, no amount of recognition or reward will squelch the dissatisfaction of me doing it. Now, let me be clear. I love flying, and I love the fact that how the achievement works, that once you do it on one character, it's unlocked for the others at level 90. I love that. What I didn't like was the mechanics of some of the rep grinds. So I just want to be clear on that. Having one daily that pops once a week. You see what I'm saying? Yes, it's convenient because it's just one daily once a week, but that makes it a very, very slow progression. So I think that those could have been fine-tuned better. And then I wouldn't have had such of a problem with it. Like I said, in comparison to Pandaland, I didn't have that same feeling as I did with the Pathfinder achievement. So let me know how you feel in the comments. You may have a completely different take on it, and I want to know about that. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.